Conor McGregor fighting or doing boxing, doing this crossover with Floyd Mayweather is a better fight than Nick or Nate Diaz going into boxing. People are like, what? Nick and Nate's boxing is so much better than Conor McGregor's. I agree. That is true. But what they do is straight boxing, which Pascal, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, name any of these professional boxers, that's what they know and they can freaking pick apart. What they don't know is what they can't see and what they're not used to. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So Conor in a boxing match against Nate and Nick Diaz, no bueno. You know what I'm saying? It's that Nate and Nick Diaz, they would spar at Andre Ward's camp and stuff like that with these boxers. You know, and they have their hands full with these world-class boxers because they're playing the same game. When you're not playing the same game, you're doing things unconventional, is where it could give these guys problems. I'm not saying it will for sure, but that's your best bet. Yeah. Being the wild card is your best bet to beat one of these legends or one of these guys where that's all they do. You know, it's like if you've ever trained with anyone, if you had to wrestle with anyone when they're really awkward, like a Michael Venom Page. Does he have the best skills? I don't know, but he's so goddamn awkward, guys. It's tough to figure out right now. You know, so same when Lyoto Machida hit the scene with MMA, people really didn't know what to do because it's so awkward.
You said if they're boxing. I mean, the one defense of Tyson Fury is that wouldn't be a boxing match. You walk in 35 seconds and McGregor just does some crazy stuff and lands one. That, among the list of probabilities for him, it's got to be actually fairly high if he is to have a prayer. It's not outboxing Floyd. It's not lasting 12 rounds. It's not knocking him out in the 8th. It would be in the first 35 seconds going bananas on him somehow and getting lucky. I understand that probability is also low.
Yeah,
but among the probabilities,
no,
it's better than the rest.
And Atlas, and the list goes on and on. All the guys, you know, I know Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor has done things that people think he couldn't do since he got into the UFC. This kid is amazing, some of the things that he's pulled off. He wants this fight. I stopped doubting the kid a long time ago. I'm going to give it to
him to win that fight. I mean, what's the prayer? It's a prayer, fine. It's a Hail Mary from the 1-yard line. It's whatever it may be. We can all say those things. But what is that Hail Mary?
Well, I think, you know, I like the fight. You know, it's not my job to promote it. You know, I don't have any vested interest. But as a fight fan, you know, of MMA and boxing, like, I like the fact that Floyd is doing something unique, you know, for number 50. I think he's earned the right to do whatever he wants to do in a boxing ring. And I applaud Conor for taking this risk and saying, look, I'm an MMA legend, but we're going to do it on your terms, all boxing. So, and then when you're making upwards of $100 million, is there really any losers? But tactically in the fight, I don't think this is going to be as easy as people think. Ultimately, you know, I'm a Floyd Mayweather.
Easy for Floyd, as everybody thinks?
As easy for Floyd Mayweather. I'm a Floyd fan. Floyd's a legend, and he's going to take care of business. Don't get me wrong. But Floyd's 40 years old, and McGregor's a lot younger. He's naturally bigger. And if he has nothing else, he has a big left hand. He has one hand that, if he lands, can cause some trouble. Now, I don't think he's going to land that shot, but just the movements that Conor has, the awkward type of martial arts type of movements, it's going to take a few rounds for Floyd to kind of figure him out, and ultimately he will, but I think it'll be interesting early.
But would that be, I'm sorry, John, would that be your advice to Conor? You got to end this thing early. You can't stick around with Floyd, I assume, from round after round trying to box. You're going to have to try to end it early.
He's not going to end it early. I wouldn't focus on a knockout, because if he goes out there looking for a knockout, he can get knocked out. I think I wouldn't totally abandon the martial arts moves, like I said, some of the awkward things he did. Obviously, he can't lift his legs, and that's going to be a challenge in and of itself to not kick Floyd or grapple Floyd, and, you know, like he would in an octagon. But be who you are. We're going to work on boxing, but be awkward. Be as awkward as you can. Make it ugly. Because if it's a close fight where there's an argument, and, man, Conor, you know, it's a 6th, 7th round, it's close, who's winning? That's a win for him because nobody's giving him a shot.
Right.
But it's really, really bad for boxing if Floyd loses. You guys are already losing ratings, and people are already paying more attention to MMA. If all of a sudden McGregor comes up and he beats a guy that no other boxer can beat, it's going to be bad for boxing.
Well, again, let me say, that's not going to happen, first and foremost.
So you're saying...
Let me get that off the table.
Okay, good.
The goal for Conor, I believe, is to make it interesting.
Yeah, and you just said a win would be going to the 6th or 7th round.
Let the people feel like they're paying for something, that it wasn't a 30-second blowout or a one-round blowout. And boxing's going to be here forever. It was here long before I got here. It's going to be here longer after I left. It's a pastime. It's not going nowhere.
You know, I know my way around a boxing gym. I'm about the only one in the sport, you know. There's some people that are really skillful. I like to say, like, you know, I'll drop names even. Like, I like the way Frankie Edgar's understanding. I like Masvidal's understanding. KJ Noon's, of course, he's a pro boxer. But, you know, so the thing is, a lot of these kickboxers, they throw their punches all awkward and they're not tight. Like, look at the Aldo, you know, he got hit. He's throwing swinging wild out there, throwing looping punches at a guy who I was betting. I called that fight. I'm like, he's going to go straight down the middle, just like I would. And it's going to, you know, with nice tight punches. You see he works in a boxing ring. He works with headgear, and he puts his shoes on. You know, you have these guys like, you know, they don't know the way around a boxing gym. They don't have any. There's nobody that's in tune with the boxing community. You see, no offense, I like Rocco, but you see him walking in there, he'll go spar guys in a boxing gym with no shoes. And to me, that's really embarrassing. You know,
that's the thing about boxing and the Conor and Mayweather fight is it's the specialization of a boxer versus the MMA person. I would say the MMA fighter is the superior fighter, right? When you start, to me, the most open and the most even playing field is the one that has the least rules.
Yeah.
But by funneling that down to those specific skill sets with boxing, you create a specialized athlete. While there are skills within boxing that will transfer to MMA, even just in terms of boxing, the timing and the footwork that you might use in boxing isn't necessarily what you would use in MMA, and vice versa.
Sure, stance, distance.
Right, but so I see that, you know, it would be great if Conor goes out there and wins. It would make MMA look that much bigger, you know. But and he's got the power, and he's a great athlete, and he's got good timing and accuracy. But I just don't see him being able to get flush on Mayweather the way that's going to be needed.
It seems highly unlikely unless he old school Bernard Hopkins. You know, remember Bernard used to fight, he used to clinch guys and just seriously rough them up and clinch. And outside, he was just straight defensive.
But do you really think that boxing referees are going to let that happen?
No, I don't.
No, and there's going to be even more eyeballs on Conor to diminish that aspect, because they're going to be expecting him to do stuff like that anyways. Or, you know, I'm sure there's already, I've heard that there are elements in the contract about kicks and things like that.
Yeah, they have to put that in there. Yeah. They would have to put that in there.
If you just decide to haul off and kick him, then that's it. You lose all your money.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I feel like if you looked at Conor and like his skill set, like what he's capable of doing, like overall, I could see how he would think, like, man, it's just striking. I feel like I could probably get close enough to, I can get off on anybody.
Sure.
But that level that Floyd Mayweather's at, like to have 0 professional boxing fights and then to spar with him.
And, you know, also from Conor's perspective, he's thinking, this is a chance to be a hero. This is another opportunity to be a hero. I have hardly anything to lose, if at all, and all to gain. I have the potential of winning. I also have a big payday, win or lose. So everything works out towards a win-win situation for him.
You know, it would have been great if Conor could get this stipulation. We'll only box, but we wear MMA gloves. Very different. Well,
Floyd has had issues with his hands in the past, which is why he almost exclusively wears winning gloves in the ring. So that would never happen.
Very thick, fat gloves. And I think they're fighting with 10-ounce gloves, too. It's a big glove.
10s, not 8s?
No, I don't think so. I think the agreed upon weight was 10. See if that's the case. Is that the case? Yeah.
Ah, wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah, interesting.
I would have thought 8s.
Yeah, you want something a little bigger.
Because they're like, what, 140-some pounds? Or 150?
I think they're going to fight 55.
Okay.
And I thought 60 was the cutoff, but I might be wrong.
168 or 170.
It might be 54.
Yeah.
Where they go to 10.
Huh.
But either way, much bigger than 4, which is what he's accustomed to.
Yeah.
And I feel like but look, man, it's still, you know, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine who's a really good jiu-jitsu black belt, and he was going to fight in MMA. And he had very little sparring in terms of like MMA sparring or very little kickboxing sparring, almost no striking. And I said, you know how you can do things to people on the ground where you get some guy who doesn't know what he's doing, you can just do whatever the fuck you want to him? I go, there's guys that can do that to you standing up. Like, you got to be careful. Like, you can't get this in your head that you're awesome at something, so you're awesome at everything.
Right.
Because the type of mentality that a person has to become, whether it's a championship-level MMA fighter or a boxer, is that focus, that intense focus. Like, sometimes guys get twisted, and they think that because I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, I could be a kickboxing champion. I could be an MMA champion. I could do whatever the fuck I want to do. But the road is long, man. The road is long.
People forget all that they went through to acquire such a set of skills to get there in the first place. And I understand that, you know, highly specialized jiu-jitsu or wrestler can go out there and experience success in MMA right away. However, like you said, they might come across that guy who is so good on their feet that they can do the whatever they want to that guy and just leave them clueless. And
you can't take them down.
Yeah,
you know?
or there's that person that you're just not able. You take them down once, twice, but they keep getting back to their feet. Now all of a sudden you're tired. You've been pushing so much harder because you can't fight a plan B or in this other plane. You have to fight within the plane that you're an expert.
Yeah,
because you put all your marbles in one basket.
Right. You're not a Mighty Mouse who can kind of do it all in any forum. You're a Damian Maia who's learned how to kickbox.
Yes.
You know, got really good at it. But when you fight Damian Maia, you know real clear what his plan is.
For sure. And even still, Damian Maia has learned to create striking that helps mitigate other people's striking so that he can get his best game off.
He's going to make a lot of money. Whether or not he could beat that guy.
Yeah, either way, huh?
It's going to be fascinating to see. It's going to be fascinating
to see. And also, isn't it not to talk about this too much, but isn't it like soon to have they didn't have time to train.
Exactly, which is what I think what Floyd wants.
Yeah.
I think Floyd was probably in great shape, and I think actually it's probably good to do it this way. I think they prepared for it for quite a long time before they actually committed to it. I hope, at least.
Yeah.
I know he was preparing. He didn't take any MMA fights. Didn't even think about it. It is kind of soon, though. August, just around the corner.
Yeah.
Wish I wasn't working.
Also, can't they make so much money if they waited?
I don't know, man. This is such a freak show. I think they might be playing it right.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Because this ain't something like you're going to plan out for 6 months. People might lose steam.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
You know what's the most dragged out fight of all time?
What?
Jean-Claude Van Damme was going to have was it a kickboxing fight? I think it was a kickboxing fight with some cat. Some Thai guy who won the gold medal in the Olympics. And they went around for